What's up, y'all? Peace. Let me know in the chat room if you guys can hear me. My sound is official. My face, you can see me, and my high beam energy. Let me know you guys can hear me okay. Peace, peace. What's good, Reginald? Peace, Black Rebel. Black dating podcaster. What's good? Spirit incarnate, peace and love. Hey, 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 hey. Michael Redbird, how you doing, my brother? Queen Nicole, what's good? The Infamil, what's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Michael Caesar, how you doing? Mr. Edward Hyde. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know. Okay, cool. You can see and hear me. All right, cool. What's up, Betsy? Peace, Most Wanted. What's good, Steven? Brittany, what's good? Sullivan Walker. David, what's up, Harlem? I see you. Oh, yes, Oakland is definitely in the building. What's up, Philip? Peace, Alex. Shanrika, what's good, Queen? Stephen, William, how y'all doing, my beautiful people? Peace and love. This is ZaZa Ali, and today is Monday, December the 2nd. I pray that you all are doing very, very well. I'm in a good mood, so I'm in a playful mood. So I think this is a good time to have this conversation. And I've been kind of sitting back and just watching the ebbs and flows of all of the, people who had something to say, all of the celebrity fanfare and whatnot. So I'm going to give it about 2 minutes, let everybody kind of roll in, and then I'm going to get started. I'm going to write a couple of notes here. As you can see, I have not written anything, and usually I start my videos without notes. I just have a couple of basic things that I don't want to forget. So let's let everybody roll in, and then we will get started. What's good, Danger? Pooch, peace and love. Imasia, Allah. What's good, family? Be wisdom. What's good? Peace, peace. How you doing, my brother Greg? Much love. All right, so I'm going to give people a couple of minutes. I'm just going to take a couple of notes here so I don't forget anything. I have my singing bowls in the background to help me to stay centered so I don't get too fired up. Because when it all boils down to it, this is just entertainment. And I think that's why it's important that we talk about this, because our people don't know how to separate the line from entertainment and, you know what I'm saying, real life. Like, we take this stuff real personal, real serious, which is why we need to have this conversation. Let me close out my Facebook page. I directed everybody from Instagram and Facebook here, so I don't have to be monitoring all these chat rooms. And so we can all have a conversation together. So just give me one more minute. Much love, Chris. I appreciate you for the super chat. Good looking out. What's good, Lena? Peace and love. This is how my mind works, y'all. I know everything I want to say. I just write notes so I can just make sure I get it all out. But my mind be like, pew, 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 pew. Let me see. Okay, I think that's it. And anything I forgot, this is my note, y'all. Anything that I forgot, let the ancestors speak to me to bring it back up into my spirit so that I can remember to relay the message that I want to relay. All right, so what's good, family? How y'all doing? Let me just preface this, right? Because I know my perspectives are usually go against the grain. So I'm expecting people to be mad, some people. I'm expecting people to feel some type of way because, you know, our culture is run by entertainment. The Joker was a fascinating movie that was filled with madness and dysfunction, and nobody, you know what I'm saying? It didn't hold the sort of the same cultural reverence or impact in the broader society because, number one, there's plenty of, you know, functional, healthy, successful white people in the world that, you know, movies don't take such emphasis in the broader culture, right? And it was a great movie. If you haven't seen The Joker, please go see that movie. Let me tell you guys, I'm a movie buff. I love film. Not just black film, not just American film. I love film. I love movies. It's very fascinating to me how a person can remove themselves from the equation. Peace, Queen Letitia, how you doing, sis? Peace, Jazzy, what's good? Peace, Chris. Everybody in the chat room, what's good, my brother Emil? Peace and love. I'm fascinated by film. The writing process, you know what I'm saying? The costumes, the whole process, the producing, the directing, the ability for somebody to turn themselves off and turn a character on. Like, I love movies. So I was expecting, for a number of reasons, number one, because of all of the fanfare. There has been a lot of particularly black celebrity attention around this movie. And so I didn't look at that as, hold on. I didn't look at it as being sensationalism. I didn't look at it as a reason to be skeptical. I looked at it like, we riding for our own, right? This is going to be a good look. We should be supporting. We should be like, okay. I've never seen The Chi. Everybody keeps telling me I should watch it. I've heard really good things about it. I've just never seen it. I still plan on seeing it. So I was not really familiar with Lena Waithe as far as her writing, as far as, you know, her element in the movie industry. I've only heard great things. So there was no reason for me to feel any type of way about what she was putting on, right? Except high expectations because she's got a track record. Her reputation precedes her. I watched Lena Waithe on The Breakfast Club when she went on there to promote Queen and Slim, and I was very impressed by her. I was very impressed with her, how articulate she was, and I don't mean articulate like she's supposed to sound white. I just mean articulate like her ability to express herself in a clear and concise way. A lot of people can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So, and for her to, as fluid as she was and how she said she was standing on, you know, her demands with the studio. She wanted final cut. She wanted to be able to, you know, make all the decisions. So I'm thinking like, okay, first of all, that's impressive to me that she made those demands. They read her script and they were like, you know, we want to do this film, whatever we need to do, let's get it done. And she was like, okay, cool. But here's what I want, and here's what I'm demanding, and if you can't do it, then we're not working with you. So that set the bar for me. That gave me a certain type of expectation, like, okay, there's going to be something to this film because she's fighting for creative control. Let me write that down so I don't forget it. She's fighting for creative control. She's fighting to say have the last word. She's fighting to make sure that she is the person that is framing the narrative as far as this film is concerned. So, okay, that's a good sign, right? And again, I was very impressed by her. She seems like a really dope sister. You know what I'm saying? So I went into this film having nothing but positive expectations. I wanted it to be great. I was expecting it to be great. I didn't have any preconceived notions. I didn't have any like, You know what I'm saying? I didn't have anything in my mind that made me feel like the way I felt when I was going to walk out of the movie theater. And I've seen a lot of people that are giving this film a lot of, as far as comments online. Oh, it was so great. It was so wonderful. Well, the movie theater I was in, they were booing it when we left. I didn't boo because I don't do that type of stuff. And I was in a predominantly black film. No, I was in an all black movie theater right outside of Atlanta. Not no bougie element, not no half white or mixed crowd. No, this is Atlanta, black, right? They were booing the film when we walked out. Just for context. So, and that in itself, I'll get to that. Let me not get sidetracked. So I was rooting for this film. I wanted it to be good. I wanted to love it. I wanted to see all these beautiful black people and the sister and the brother and the love story and blah, blah, blah. The sister, I can't remember her name. Very beautiful, very talented, obviously, actress in her own right. She played the hell out of that part. She gets nothing but props from me. She didn't write the film. You know what I'm saying? All she did was play her role, and she did a great job at it. So I absolutely loved what she brought to the table. And I love the fact that, we got to see a dark-skinned sister play a major role. Checking this chat room. Y'all hold me down in the chat room. But I'll try to keep it clean. All right. So, and let me just mention this, because I know, there's a lot of, black, I know I see him, Elliot. Don't trip. Y'all just, sometimes when there's a gnat in the house, you have to, move accordingly until you can kill it. I just want to add this because this is going to come up later. I didn't feel any type of way about Lena Waithe being like a lesbian female, or I knew she was, you know what I'm saying? And I'm mentioning this for a specific reason because it's going to come up later. I didn't have no preconceived notions about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, she was dope. I liked her. I was vibing with her. You know what I'm saying? I felt like she's talked about her marriage and all of that. I had no problem with any of that. So I was rooting for her, right? Because I've also seen that conversation come up when it comes to the portrayal of black men. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But I just want to preface this for anybody that tries to say, you know what I'm saying, anything about any anti-LGBTQ or any homosexual, and any of that. This ain't the spot for that. We just having a conversation, and I'm giving you my opinion, which I'm entitled to. Now, this is something else I want to say when it comes to black people in entertainment, right? I put a comment on a couple of popular pages about what I thought about the movie. Basically, a little snippet of what I'm about to tell you guys. Why do y'all get so mad when people criticize black art? Or when people criticize black entertainment? Like, why do you take it so personal? It's like me being a writer. I'm a writer. All of my work is susceptible to criticism. That's the industry that I'm in. When you're a filmmaker, all these people, like, we recognize that criticism is a part of the process. A cultural criticism, a film criticism, and even the message that's underneath the film, right? Because, racism, white supremacy always plays its role when it comes to how we dissect these things. And I'm going to get into that because, again, I had a certain level of expectations when she said all of these people wanted it. And I said I wanted final cut, so I'm the one who had the last say. Okay, cool. So that means that there were white studios that read this script and felt that it was obviously it was going to make money, right? Perhaps it played a position or played a role in an agenda they're trying to push. I'll get into that in just a second. All right, so this is entertainment. This is my opinion about the entertainment, right? But it's also a cultural conversation because if white people had did this movie, and y'all tell me if I'm lying, those of you guys who have seen it, and if you haven't seen this film yet, there's going to be way too many spoilers, because I'm going to talk about what actually happened in the film. So if you haven't seen the film yet and you want to, analyze it through your own lens without my perspective, by all means, please do. And I'm not telling people not to go see the film. No, I love film. It's art. Go see it. You know what I'm saying? Support it, and let's see what happens. If you actually, like, don't let this be a deterrent, unless you just hear something that you just, are good on. Tell me if I'm lying. Those of you guys who have seen the film, if white people had done this picture, we would be, not we, I don't do this shit. We would be ready to riot. We would be so upset and disrespected, and with the language, with the stereotypes, with the weak black man caricature, with the strong, at times overbearing black woman, with the all of the stereotypes of the Jezebel black female super sexual energy, and the black gangster, you know what I'm saying? And the man calling his son a nigga and like disrespecting his son. All of these different stereotypes. If a white man had did this film, we would be ready to fight. Nobody can tell me different, right? Now, I've talked to a couple of people because, my friends, homies hit me up and stuff, want to know what I think. And there's a common consensus that it's true to life. Well, there are black men. I know people who talk to their sons like that. That shit is real. I don't hang around men that talk to their sons like that. I've known men. I've grew up around men that talk to their sons like that. I don't have any men in my life that disrespect their sons the way that men talk to that. That shit made my skin crawl. I can't. I don't have any men in my life that disrespect their children like that. None. Do I know men like that? Do I see random shit in Walmart? Of course. We all do. I try to avoid those Walmarts, but you can't run from it. Right? So, yes, it's true to life, but okay, let me back up. So, if white people had did this video with all of the stereotypes and all of the negativity and I thought we were moving ourselves towards changing the narrative about our culture. I thought that's where we were. That's why Black Panther was so powerful. And it's so funny to me because all of the hypocrisy, and I won't even call it hypocrisy because it's a warranted argument, right? The super duper pro-black revolutionary, you know what I'm saying, anti-fun party bus rode in and was like, well, white people made all the money off the film. Black actors only got this, and white people were the only ones that actually green-lighted it, and this wasn't really a black movie, and so what if Ryan Coogler directed it, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But look at the overwhelming positive message in that film. And I know it was a money thing. I know white people, you know what I'm saying, the intention of the studios and the filmmakers, they weren't sitting behind the scenes thinking, yeah, we're going to put one out there for black people that's going to make their sons and daughters feel proud to be African and feel proud of their culture. I don't think that was the behind the scene agenda. But I also think that they are aware that there's a change in the landscape of film and of culture, and that there is an audience that wants to see positive black images. I'm one of those people. So, Black Panther comes through with the cultural message, with the military strong message, with the upholding black women message, with the female scientists and the matriarchal mother and the warrior element and the, you know what I'm saying? Like just all of these beautiful high vibration images and a deeper message when it came to the vibranium and talking about consciousness and energy and just a very high level, high frequency film. I don't care who made all the money from it. The cultural impact that Black Panther has made on the minds and the And the psychology of our people cannot be underscored. I cannot say that enough. Right? Now, juxtapose. You have a black filmmaker that has already set a precedence for being successful. She doesn't need to prove anything, maybe as far as film is concerned. And I'm sure there's pressure when you coming out the gate doing your first film. And I don't want to minimize that whole thing. And yes, this is just one film. And I'll still be rooting for this sister after this, that hopefully, you know what I'm saying? With every film, she'll get better and she'll get clarity and she'll listen to what people had to say, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just one film, but it's the message in the film is old. The message in the film is old, and it's not our message. It might reflect certain elements of our culture, right? But that's the same thing that white people argue. Well, you do call yourselves niggas. Why are you mad that, what's the white boy's name that did the film Django? Remember all the controversy because they had the one scene in there where they said nigga like 100 times or whatever? Like, why are we going to be mad at them if we set the cultural tone with our films? Is this setting a new cultural tone? Does this film set a new cultural tone so that white filmmakers who are interested in making money off of our community or who are interested in our culture now can use this as a precipice? Well, they loved it. All the celebrities are championing it. Diddy and Beyonce and all the who's. And I'm like, did they watch the same film as me? Or did they watch the same film as me? Or is this just about celebrating their moving the culture forward as far as being able to produce films? Because let's understand here, there's layers and elements to black culture. Black celebrities do not live in the same world that most black people do. They don't. They dip their toe in the culture when it's convenient or when there's something that needs to be said or just all around. They are black. I'm not, let me contextualize what I'm saying. This was a win for Lena Waithe. This was a win for the other sister that was involved in the film. I can't think of her name. I'm happy for both of them, but for the culture, this was an L. For the culture, this was an L. And I actually wanted my son to go with me to see this movie. I practically begged him, but he was tired. He didn't want to go. Now, I think that Lena Waithe and everybody else who was promoting this film should be prefacing, because it's kind of being advertised as a family film, and not like Black Panther family film, but like this is for the culture film, right? That's how it's being promoted. Nobody is really saying, you might want to keep the little ones at home for this one. Because there was people with children in the movie theater where I was at. Nobody is saying, which is appropriate, hey, this is a good one, but you know what I'm saying? We want the support, but leave the babies at home. Because there is a very, 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 very explicit sex scene in the film. And then Jezebel energy is, there's a sister in a onesie thong walking around in the film, like, you know what I'm saying? Clearly stripper energy. There's a few images throughout the film that represent that stripper energy. I'm just calling it like I see it. Right? So we got the Jezebel, we got the weak black man, we got the super strong, at times overbearing, yet beautiful black woman. We got the several very dysfunctional male characters in the film. And then this is the thing that, hold that comment for me, M. Jones, because I want to read that. And because I want to make sure that I'm balanced in my assessment. So if you can copy your comment and then bring it back so that I can read it, because you make a good point. What was I about to say? Damn. the very dysfunctional, super dysfunctional male characters in this film really, really, really needs to be highlighted. And I really want to understand, because see, this is the thing. When a person writes a film, when a person writes a blog, when a person writes a play, when a person writes a book, I'm a writer, you know what I'm saying? And I love to read. I love to read other people's minds. It's one of the reasons why I love to, watch film, because I love to see what the human mind can produce in all different aspects. You're reading this person's mind. There was something very sinister about the portrayal of black men in this film. And I'm gonna bring them to light. I'm writing notes as I remember these things, you guys, so just bear with me. There was a couple of scenes before I get specifically into that just from a filming perspective made absolutely no sense and really made me scratch my head. Like, maybe you should have gave somebody else final cut, because this made absolutely no sense. The first thing that really, after this scene, my brain shut off. I'm not even lying. Actually, there was a few scenes, but this scene there's a scene in the movie where they rob a gas station for gas, right? They pump the gas. He goes in the store. He pulls his gun out on the white dude that's the cashier. This dude looks like a gamer, stonehead dude, whatever. Not a threat at all. A little pencil neck dude. The white dude says, "Can I hold your gun?" Right? And I'm thinking, I'm not even, there's no way you're going to rob a liquor store and then give the person you're robbing the gun because he asked to see the gun. He hands him the gun. Like, did we fall asleep that day? Why? He hands him the gun, a loaded gun. White dude takes the gun, starts fiddling around with it, and then points the gun at the brother. And he's like, it's not even like, maybe like, oh, he points it for a second and, no, I'm just joking with you. There's like a 30-second part of this where this white dude that he's robbing is pointing a gun for like 30 seconds. It was like super slow motion. Like, I'm like, okay, something's got to happen. This has to make sense. I need this to make sense so my brain can stay in tune with this film. White dude's holding and he's looking at him like he's getting ready to do something for like 30 seconds. It was the weirdest shit ever. Oh man, I'm just playing with you. And in my brain, I was like, I couldn't even understand it. I could not, there was no reason. Somebody in the chat room said metaphor. Nope, I'm not buying that. And I'm a metaphor queen as far as like understanding and appreciating metaphors and writing metaphors. Nope, that made absolutely no sense to me. None. Then, the fact that they stopped while they were on the run like multiple times, the horse thing just totally threw me off. You want to stop and ride a horse. I want to sit out the window. I'm going to force you to sit out the window. You've never wanted to sit out the window before, but I'm going to force you to sit out the window because if I like it, you're going to like it. If the brother don't want to sit out the window, like, leave him alone. What do you... Okay, so... Then, the sister. Remember the part when I haven't even got into the cultural proclivities yet. I'm just talking about the things as far as like filmmaking that made absolutely no sense. Remember the part when the car stopped and the sheriff pulls up, right, in the truck. They don't know he's a sheriff yet. So he pulls up in the truck. He's like, hey, you guys need some help? Why was the sister standing? She had got grazed by the bullet. She had on white pants. So her whole one up side of her legs was covered in blood, right? Now, if you're hitchhiking and you're trying to get a ride and you don't want people to know that you've killed a police officer, she had on a trench coat, bruh. Why? She's standing there and the leg that has the blood on it is projected forward. Almost like, when a woman is trying to stand sexy, or maybe she has a split in her skirt. So she's like protruding that leg forward so that, you know what I'm saying, she can emphasize the sexiness. The leg that has the blood on it is protruding forward like she's trying to show this leg. I was like, why? So when she gets in the car, one of the first things he says is, "Are you okay?" Because he sees the blood. Okay, so, and there was multiple other things. I should have took notes during the film. If I had known that I wasn't gonna enjoy this film, I would have just took notes and like really done an expose, right? So, you guys that have, if your comments, you really want me to read them, like copy them and save them so I can come back and read some of the stuff, because I want to make sure I'm balanced. I want to make sure that I'm, giving the perspective of people who have varying positions. Like Patrick just said, this film is about connecting to the community. This is a sequel to Sweetback Badass Song. Okay. So those were just some of the things, and there was other things too. That just, as far as film is concerned, those are the scenes that should have been cut out. Those are the scenes that just did not make any sense. What's good? The Compass Circle, Peace Queen. She says she absolutely hated this movie. How you doing, sis? Those were just some of the little things that, just from a filmmaking standpoint, that's what I'm saying. Like, as a people, like, let's not jump off let's be balanced critics of our art. We don't always have to green light everything or go full throttle for everything just because it's black made. We can be balanced. So those little innuendos, the things that just drive me crazy, were like all throughout that film, where it was like, not even from a script standpoint, from a life standpoint, this don't make sense. This is not a good look. You should cut that out. You should not, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, we got that out the way, right? The premise that this film is being promoted under, and that I'm seeing a lot of people, even a couple of comments in the chat room, is that this is art imitating life, right? This is real-time black life, black reality. This is stuff that happens all the time. We're dealing with police brutality. This is a part of black reality, and we're shining a spotlight on it in an artistic way, but still, that's what this is about. Okay. Have you ever, in the history of this country, and there may have been instances, let's talk modern times. When is the last time that you heard about a black man or a black boy killing a black police officer? When have you ever? I've never, and at one point I was like intently focused on keeping track of all of this stuff because it was important to me then. When have you ever heard of a young black man, a young, beautiful, dope, intelligent, handsome, vibrant young man? When that scene happened, spoiler, you guys. And I'm fast forwarding because there's some other stuff. When they had that little brother kill that police officer, my spirit tuned out. I totally removed myself from wanting to be connected to this film because it hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'll give you guys an example. I talked about this before. When Oscar Grant in Oakland, y'all know I'm from Oakland. I was in Oakland when Oscar Grant got killed. Went down to the town hall, you know what I'm saying? I was on the news. I gave the whole Oakland City Council bars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was very emotionally invested in and involved in. I knew people that personally knew Oscar Grant. That story, to this day, like Trayvon Martin, was very, 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 very personal to me, right? So when the film came out, I went and saw it, and then I took my son and my brother to see it, but they went into a different movie theater because I had already seen it, so I went into another film. Now, mind you, I'm not really thinking like, don't forget this was a traumatic experience. Don't forget that this is, like, for other people around the country, the Oscar Grant movie probably was not as, you know what I'm saying? It was different in Oakland. It was just like a gaping hole that, you know what I'm saying? You touch it the wrong way, you breathe on it the wrong way, and something's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So in Oakland, and mind you, my son was like watching this whole process. So he was directly connected. You know, we all the news on, right? So my son and my brother went into the other movie theater to watch the film. And at the time, I think Nassim was maybe 8 or 9, maybe 10, somewhere in that age, maybe 10. So they go into the other room to watch the movie. They come in my theater after the film is over because my movie lasted longer. So they come in, they sit down, and I'm looking at my son. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And I asked my brother, I'm like, what's wrong with him? He's like, he tripping on the movie. Like, it really affected him. And I looked at my son, and it's like his eyes was like, you know how somebody looks like they just seen a ghost? He was like stuck. And you know, boys, it's hard for them to sit still. My son was like dazed. He was just sitting there looking forward. And I was like, are you okay? And he wasn't saying anything. He was just kind of dazed. And it dawned on me in that moment, number one, I wasn't in the theater with him. And number two, it all came back to me. Like, I thought this was only me. I thought that I was the only one that was emotionally affected by this. Like, this shit was traumatizing to my son, and he just relived it through a film. Okay? So for all of you guys that's thinking about taking your children to see this film, I'm putting this in context for you. And again, I'm not telling anybody not to go see it. I'm just giving you my opinion, how I felt in a bigger cultural perspective, because everybody's trying to make it seem like this movie is for the culture. No, this is a win for Black filmmakers that are trying to make moves in the industry. This is a win for the two sisters and maybe even the actors that were involved. But for the culture, this is a L. So you got the Oscar Grant movie. Then I didn't learn my lesson from that. Nat Turner movie comes out. Was it Nat Turner? Yeah, it was Nat Turner. Nat Turner movie comes out, right? So Nat Turner is revolutionary. It's the whole Haitian revolution. There's history to it. There's culture. You know what I'm saying? Got good quality actors in here. Let's give this a chance, because I do want my son to know his culture, and I do want my son to know his history. And you know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. So we're watching the film. And of course, at the end of the film, the movie ends with like 15 Black people, including a baby, a little boy, lynched. So we're watching and replaying generational trauma, generational pain that's bringing up all of this shit from centuries ago. We don't even realize, we don't respect the body and the mental capacity and the spiritual capacity. We think we just here living this life right now. No, you are directly tied to, directly connected to all of that pain, all of that history, all of that trauma. So I'm sitting in the film and I'm looking at the screen, and there was so much fanfare about the Nat Turner film. Oh, we got to go support this. We got to make sure we support Black movies. We got to make sure we support hit movies. But at the end of the film, there's 15 Black people hanging from a rope. And a child is hanging from a rope. And my son is in the movie theater with me. And in that moment, And he didn't like the movie. I didn't like the movie. In that moment, I told myself I will never, ever, 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 ever bring my son to any of these films. Matter of fact, I'm never going to make him go to the movies with me anymore. And he's too old at this point anyway. But I will never make my son sit through a slave narrative. Anything where there is very traumatic black death. Really any death, but particularly people who look like you. Bobby Hemmett said one time, and I tried to find this video, I can't find it because this wasn't his subject, his specific subject. I remember he said, be careful as black people when you are going and watching these films and you see this trauma and this death of melanated people and people who look like you. Be careful because it's tapping into a deeper emotional pain than what you actually realize. And it's traumatizing. It's traumatizing. So, black boy, inspired by two Bonnie and Clyde-esque people, I'm thinking he's inspired culturally. I'm thinking he's inspired like I love black people. I want to stand up for black people. I'm thinking he's inspired like, you know what I'm saying? Like it might not have turned out good, but at least the black man stood up for the black. I'm thinking he's responsibly and in a healthy way inspired. Out of nowhere, this young brother goes to the march. He's fired up, he's passionate, takes out the gun and kills the black police officer who's actually trying to help him. When I tell y'all that my heart leapt out of my chest when I saw that, there's no explanation. Oh, this is true to life. This is real life, We need to be talking about police brutality. It's good to have black love. Bonnie and Clyde, there was absolutely no valid explanation for that scene. Even in the script, there wasn't even a follow-up. There wasn't even like a news report that talked about what happened to him. It was like two black men gone. Young, vibrant, beautiful brother who's got all the potential in the world just killed a black police officer that's actually looking out for him. Killed him out of nowhere. It just, oh man. When that part of the film happened, literally in my mind, the only reason I stayed in the theater was because I was like, I got to do a video about this. I have to talk about this. And I'm probably going to even write a blog about this and really like break it down. The subtle fuckery, I shouldn't say fuckery because I don't even know. I can't to say that would imply that there was ill intent on behalf of the writer and the people involved in this film. And I don't know that. A lot of our problems as a people are psychological in nature and are trauma-based in nature, and we don't even realize how much dysfunction that we're actually exercising. Like all of the people who are, and I'm not talking about the celebrities, I think that's a different agenda, but like all the people who are looking at this and don't see anything wrong and are like, it was great, it was wonderful. Okay, I get you like the film, but like point out the things that make you feel some type of way. Point out the things that, you know what I'm saying, that we don't need. Point out that, because again, if white people made this film, y'all would be tearing the movie theaters down. If white people had made a film where there's whole energy, stripper energy, very Jezebel type energy, unwarranted. There's no prostitutes in the script. There's no, you know what I'm saying? I can see if like there's a prostitution situation or, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody kicked in the door of a whole house or, you went into the strip club because of whatever. Okay, that makes sense. There's that Jezebel energy throughout the film and there's no context for it. Then the brother at the gas station, this took me out. Another thing that took me out. First of all, you charging these people $2,300. They last $2,300. Okay, I felt some type of way about that. You're gonna take their last dollar, like how they gonna get gas? Like I felt some type of way about that, but that's not a big deal. So, and they didn't even try to negotiate either. That was corny to me. Like, how you gonna have your last, you on the run, and you don't even try to negotiate? Like, okay, bro, you know, all we got is 2,300. I'm gonna give you 21. No, okay, but okay, fine. This man, when he's talking to his son, you know how sometimes people use the word nigga, like, you know, when you in conversation, it's like, oh, nigga, you tripping, or you know what I'm saying? Like when you around your people, like playfully, you know, there's levels to that word. You know who to say it around, you don't who not to say it around, you know it's gonna make ears. You know what I'm saying? Like the word has a frequency to it. Even sometimes when I say it in on video, I'm using that word specifically to talk about a certain type of mindset and a certain type of energy. And people get mad at me for saying it, but when the behavior stops, the word will die. I'm more concerned about the behavior than the word. You know what I'm saying? And I use that word specifically publicly for a certain reason. When this man was talking to his son, it wasn't like no playful, oh, get out of here, little nigga, or oh, you trip. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like very angry, vitriolic, hateful type of language that he's talking to his son. Why? What part? Why? Again, no context. There's nothing that preceded this. There's nothing that happened afterwards that gave any context. Now, why do I keep talking about context? Because this idea that we just gonna be supporting black rappers and black artists and black entertainers and black politicians and we just support them no matter what just because they're black has to die. There has to be context. If you're telling the world, I fought for this film and it's important for the culture and I wanted Final Cut and I told the white studio executives this is going to be black. This is going to be a black film. We don't want your input. We don't want your say. If you want to be involved in this, we're setting the tone for the culture. And you don't put any context in all of these little subtle moving parts that's super like, it's like, okay, one thing, okay. Two things, oh wow, okay. Three things, okay. Four things, okay. Five things, okay. Six things, okay. 7, 8, 9, 10 things. We got a problem. What are you selling? What are you selling? What's the message that we're trying to convey here? And I get the whole art thing. I get, it's artistic expression. I'm all for artistic expression. I love film. I'm all for artistic expression. But when you start talking about for the culture and I love the people and this is for my people and black love and black pride, and you have a different level of accountability and responsibility. And if nobody else wants to say it, I will. And all of the black celebrities that are greenlighting this and are standing behind this have the same level of context, are responsible for the same level of context. It's like Jay-Z with the situation with the NFL, right? Everybody's like, oh, it's a business move. Why are you guys over exaggerating? Wait until it plays itself out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get all of those arguing points. I love Jay-Z. I'm very happy with what he has been doing for the culture. But bruh, if you're gonna say I'm making a deal with the NFL by way of an entertainment move, but we also want to shift the narrative from just kneeling, okay, we got to move the ball forward. We have to do more than just march and just kneel, which is basically what he said. Okay, so now you're putting yourself at the head of the table as far as making moves for the culture, as far as speaking for the culture and speaking for our people and how we should move, then it was your role and responsibility to give that situation proper context so that all hell didn't break loose in our culture. You asked for that, you own that, and then you walked away from it when it was time to take the responsibility. That's the thing that becomes an issue for me. Nobody's mad at Jay-Z for making money moves. He's been making money moves. When we start talking about for the culture and social activism and police brutality and all this stuff, now you have to frame the narrative. You have to fine tune this. You got to put them. You have to help people to understand so that black people ain't online and in the streets and arguing amongst ourselves, speculating based on what you're doing or what you're not doing, speculating on whether you're looking out for Cap or whether you're not, speculating on whether these people are actually going to do something in our community or if this is just about money. Now, if you're just making a money move, then just let it be a money move. So back to my original point. I have no problem with the art thing. But and remember, this is the context of this is art imitating life. That's how the movie has been promoted. That's how it's been sold. I went and watched like 4 of Lena Waithe's interviews after she was on The Breakfast Club. I was very impressed with her. Again, I was rooting for her. I wanted her to win. I want her to win. So the movie is being promoted under the guise of this is for the culture. So now it's not just about artistic endeavor. It's not just about furthering the capabilities and abilities of black film writers and black, you know what I'm saying? Like when Tyler Perry does his Medea movies, he's not doing press tours and saying I'm doing this for the culture. He's making funny films. You know, black people, a lot of black people take issue with Tyler Perry and all in the dress and all of that type of stuff and the emasculation of the black. But just put a pin in that for a second. He's not representing his films as being anything other than pure comedy. You are, in one breath, coming underneath the banner of this is for the culture. But what are you selling to and telling the culture? I've been talking for how long? 52 minutes. And I haven't even got to the narrative about the weak black man. I wanted to... Listen. What's the brother's name? I don't want to be disrespectful. And this ain't even about him because he's just playing a role. What is that brother's name so I can accurately address him? What's the brother's name? Tell me. I think there's a buffer between you guys talking, hearing me. The brother who's in the film. I don't know if it's possible. I was like, is he slow? And one of the other actors even said it. Is he slow? Is he dumb? Is he like, what's going on with this dude? Very weak, very passive. If you're going to do Bonnie and Clyde, then do Bonnie and Clyde. Daniel Kaluuya. And I loved him in Get Out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that he is a great actor in his own right. Hell, he played the hell out of that role. If you're going to do Bonnie and Clyde, then do Bonnie and Clyde right. The original Clyde wasn't no pushover. Oh, tell me what to do. I don't know, but I do know, and I don't like horses, but I'm going to go ride the horse, and then I'm going to sit out the window because you told me to sit out the window, and I'm going to do all this stupid I'm going to give the dude the gun. And like, could he have been any weaker? I have no idea. Why? Y'all comparing it to Bonnie and Clyde. Clyde was not no sucker. That's the only language I could use. Clyde was not, that Bonnie and Clyde script was not about no strong, dominant woman and no weak, passive man that she dragged across the country. Like, no, that was a very, you know what I'm saying? So no, this is not a black Bonnie and Clyde. That was too gung-ho. We going out full to the death. If we're going to die, we're going to die together. So why did he have to be so weak? What was the context of that? What was the make this make sense for me? I'm rooting for you. I want you to win. But you pissing me off. What was the context for him to be that meek? And there was way too many instances as far as what he did and what he didn't do. That just was like, and then the sister was like a lawyer. So I was like, okay, cool. She's going to be the smart one. He might be a little slow. All right, cool. Sometimes women have to take the forefront, even though all women keep telling you that we're tired of having to take the forefront and having to make all the decisions. And then men are like, I'm sick of having women tell me what to do or trying to tell me what to do. And this whole strong black woman thing is too much. But then it's all in the film. And we spotlighted and highlighted it because it's black film. Oh, okay. So, how many black men identify with this role? Please tell me. Please tell me how many black men watching this that actually watched this movie identified with this dude. I identified with the sister to an extent. Then she started like, ooh, get out the window and fly. I'm like, let that man live. Why are you telling him what to do? Stop. So the whole strong and she misled him multiple times. Let's be clear. I really wanted to love her. I really wanted to love her because she was intelligent. She was a lawyer, so she knew. And it was a certain point in the film where they started to see that they had the people's backing, right? Where like the people are like, oh, okay, they saw the film. Okay, the shooting was on camera. Okay, we got momentum behind us. Okay, hold on. We can change the narrative. I'm thinking they finna change the narrative. Maybe we can beat this. It was self-defense. It was self-defense. So I'm thinking her lawyer hat's about to come on. Yeah, she really about to shine now. Let's go. It's nothing I love more than to see a strong, intelligent sister use her mind to get out of some shit. And she was like, and she just kept running him in the ground and running him in the ground and running. I'm like, why did you become a lawyer? Like, what? This is what you've been waiting for your whole life. It's the perfect opportunity for you to shine. What are you doing? What are you doing? And clearly he's a beer short of a six-pack. All right. So at this point, she has all momentum to lead them in the right direction. And where does she lead them? It's the little subtle things that we got to start picking up on. Because intelligent people that have discernment can sit through a film, right? And be able to see what's happening. Oh, okay, I see what that's about. Oh, okay, you're trying to hoodwink me, huh? Oh, you think I'm stupid? Oh, okay. I can still enjoy a film. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like watching a commercial. 95% of the commercials are absolutely ridiculous to an intent. It's like, there's a way that you can sell insurance without using a goddamn cartoon. But okay, you want to treat people like 10-year-olds. That's the psychology that's happening behind the scenes. When I was studying advertising when I was in college, there's a specific medium and images that they use depending on the type of demographic that they are catering to. Trust me, none of that stuff is coincidental. The lizard, the characters, all this stuff. So, I don't know how many of you guys watch Watchmen on HBO. You gotta watch Watchmen. It's a couple of scenes that just turn me off, but 95% of it is very, very, very good and engaging. And I love Regina King. She is definitely doing her thing, and she's a great actress, and she's beautiful, and she's just I just love her. Love this show, right? In the show, they have what they call Cyclops. And these Cyclops use, when they were switching back to the days of her grandfather, back in the 40s, 50s, very long time ago, the KKK and the white power structure at that time were using film and planting subliminal messages in the film in order to brainwash people. And this is a very racially charged show. Like, they're talking about Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, the bombing there, the people who got killed, the Klan. So this is a very racially charged, but in a good way. Not racially charged like you black and you feel like, you know what I'm saying, the world is against you. No, this is like has very balanced characters that are bringing the human element of what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma and Black America into the light, right? But there's this specific instance where it talks about how they are using film in order to program people, Black people in particular. And it also talks about this elite element that from the top down, at the bottom is the white police officers, the Ku Klux Klan, the local politicians. But as you go up the pyramid, that's where the power structure is, where you start to get into the major money and the elitists and the, you know, all of the big wigs that you never actually see, but the ones that are making this decision and running the show. There's something very powerful and true to life about that. And this is what we are watching play out right now with this film and with other commentary. Now, let me contextualize this, because I have a responsibility for context too, right? Do you think that it's just a coincidence that she says she had a lot of white studios at her for this film? She says she was kind of shocked by how many of them actually wanted to be involved with this film. And she said that she had her pick and choosing. She basically was like, nope, I want this. And she was actually surprised that they were like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I didn't really think too much of that until after I saw the film. And I was like, why would they have a problem with this film? There's nothing enlightening about this film. There's nothing, you're not walking away from this movie feeling like you can take over the world. Everybody, the main characters end up dead, and dead in a way that, like, even the last scene was like, come on, bruh. He's walking towards anyway. So let's, again, going to the pyramid and the Cyclops. Studios are fighting for this film. White studios are fighting for this film. We'll give you full creative control. We read the script. We love it. It's December of 2019. Next year, we have a presidential election. We have a presidential election in a very racially charged environment. Police brutality has played a major role in, obviously, Colin Kaepernick and the Donald Trump situation, and him being very vocal and vitriolic when it comes to Colin Kaepernick, and also the police shootings, the situation in South Carolina, all of these different instances, right, happening in the background of this country that are setting for a very chaotic background. This is the background right now. And then a film comes out where a black man and a black woman go on a run for shooting a police officer. Now, when it was just the white police officer, it wasn't really that, it was like there was context, right? There was a legitimate reason for the shooting. There was the racial energy that's been happening in the country. There was the white man shooting a black woman and the black man protecting her, right? They didn't do anything. All they were doing was driving. He was very rude. He was disrespectful. So there's context at this point. It's believable. It's relatable. It makes sense. Now, these people have inspired a very handsome, a very charming, a very beautiful young black man that has his whole entire life ahead of him to kill not only a police officer, but a black police officer. Now, white people aren't looking at this and saying, oh, he killed a black officer, it's not a big deal. It's not this. When it comes to police officers and that blue skin, so to speak, that's a system of racism, white supremacy. That represents the legal system, that represents white power. And again, these officers are at a march actually trying to break up a very emotionally charged riot or march. Now you've gone from art imitating life, this is true to life, this actually, makes sense, this could actually happen, we're rooting for them, to now, wait a minute, this is inspiring a young black man to kill a police officer. So in the bigger scheme of things, right, we have to contextualize this in the role that this is going to have when it comes to the minds and hearts of not only our people. We sometimes as a people forget that we're citizens of the world. We sometimes as a people forget that we still have to interact with and I'm not talking about assimilation. I'm not talking about kissing anybody's ass. I'm not talking about, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about being citizens of the world and how this imagery is shaping and molding consciousness. Some people leaving the audience, like I said, in the movie theater that I was in, they were booing. I left disgusted. I'm just being honest. And I love movies. So the fact that I was disgusted was like really a situation for me. Not just disgusted, but I just, like I said before, it's just elements about the movie that just were not believable to me. And I know people are talking about like the cinematography and there were beautiful shots and beautiful images of nature and stuff like that. I agree with all of that, but I can watch Planet Earth if I want to see beautiful image. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm coming to watch a film. Like it was like at a certain point, it was like, am I watching Nature Channel? I'm being funny, but I'm kind of not. But I give them props for that. I'm being facetious. In the bigger context of where we are right now and the scope of what's the narrative of police brutality in the past 10 years since Obama was primarily since Obama was in office, and now this, 4 years of Donald Trump, and now we've got this election coming up. I'm really, really, really interested to see, and I'm really, 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 really pretty sure that this is going to come up in the broader context of the political spectrum. And I'm not saying that some random black dude is going to go kill a police officer. I would never speak that into existence. I would never put that type of energy out there. But I just want to be clear because people will take little things that you say and try to frame a narrative for you. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that race is going to play a big agenda, a big role in this upcoming election, and that they are going to use all of these different schisms in consciousness to help Donald Trump win the election again. Now, there's a power struggle at the top between the people who are backing Donald Trump and the people who want to get Trump out of office. That's a whole nother subject for another time. The public does not select the president. Don't argue with me. This is what it is. So when you look at it through that lens, understanding that there are people in power positions behind the scenes that are moving things around in order to sway public opinion, not to get the win, but to make you think that you got the win. So I'm in Georgia. It's not uncommon for me to be driving through a back street and see a Confederate flag. I go walk Stone Mountain, there's Confederate flags hanging there, right? I'm not immune to where I'm at. I'm very knowledgeable about the landscape here. Not afraid, but just aware. I am willing to bet anything that this movie and the subtleties and police brutality. This is going, and I say that to say that the subtle way that it will play out is that Lena Waithe and maybe a couple of actors from the film, or people who are proponents of the film, will be used as talking heads in order to promote a certain candidate or a certain agenda, right? So now who's identifying with Lena Waithe? Who's identifying with the people who are proponents for this film? People that resonate with what was in the film. This is frequency and consciousness. There's levels. Y'all stay with me. So people who identify with this, and they know who you are because the algorithms are checking what you like, what you resonate with, who you're watching, who you're not watching, the stuff you thumbs up, the stuff you don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like certain keywords are picking up now. They know who's with this frequency, who's with this level of consciousness, and right? So this is all about shaping and molding human consciousness. And Black people are up in arms because Donald Trump is so disrespectful, and any given day he's going to say something disrespectful, and now we're trying to decide who the lesser of two evils is. And Kamala Harris, she's Black, or she's sort of Black, but she's, you know what I'm saying? Like, race is playing a major role in this election. And it's going to get even more fervent as we get closer to the election. So this is why you know what I'm saying? Like the subtleties of symbolism and movies and film. One film can fast track what's the word I'm looking for? One film can fast track a subtle manipulative maneuver that could have taken 10 years to play out between drugs and guns and police brutality. One film. So we have one of our films. And again, don't write me saying I'm trying to down Black, but I was rooting for this film. I wanted to love it. I went and spent my money. I have a Fire Stick. I could have watched it for free. I went and sat in the theater by myself so that I could really appreciate and take it all in. I wanted to love the movie. I was rooting for this sister. I wanted her to win. This ain't it. A win for Black filmmakers, a win for Lena Waithe, a win for the other sister that was involved. I'm happy for them. I hope they continue to be successful as long as they stop putting out shit that is anti-Black progress. What happened to Black excellence? Was there anything about Black excellence in this film? I didn't see it. Lena Waithe might represent Black excellence because she was able to, to put her foot down and tell the studio, nope, this is what I want, and I want full creative control. There's an element of that represents Black excellence. I give it to her. The other sister who was responsible for some of the visual images that everybody really seems to love and to resonate with, certain aspects of that represent Black excellence. I give her that. The sister who was the actress, I don't know her name, very beautiful, a very good actress. Like, I believed her role, even though I didn't like some of the stuff that her role did, but she played her part well. That represents Black excellence to me. But what, from a cultural standpoint, about this film represents Black excellence? The underlying message. And another thing that really, just from a film making or a film perspective, at the end of the movie when they got shot and the plane was sitting there on the runway, and so there's this long drawn out scene. It's way too long drawn out scene where they're like the Mexicans stand down with the police, whatever, stand off with the police. Why is the plane sitting there with the propellers still turning the whole damn scene? It was like, it felt like 30 minutes. But it was like, why why is this person in this plane? Why are the propellers? There's guns going off. Why is the plane? It just seemed, it was so backwards to me. I just need to bring that up. It didn't make any sense to me. So the aspect about Black love, because I'm seeing a lot of people hashtagging Black love. Is this an element of Black love? Sure. Black people get together. I mean, it's a movie. So we're not expecting this to be true to life per se, even though the film is being heralded as art imitating life. This is a reflection of Black love. These people randomly, met, went out on a date, weren't really feeling each other, but were bonded through trauma and pain and dysfunction and ended up dying together. They met and died together in one day. I get the Bonnie and Clyde element. I get the fact that they, all they had was each other. So, you know what I'm saying? I get all of that. But let's stop the cultural narrative of representing this as Black love only because it is Black love, but it's dysfunctional and it's traumatic and it doesn't feel good and it doesn't end good. You know what I'm saying? There's certain scenes where they click and they're kind of, but they just met. You know what I'm saying? She was kind of like being really bossy and overly, you know what I'm saying? Like their vibe was not good at all. Like I don't really like the whole hashtag Black love about this thing. Just kind of makes me feel some type of way. I'm just being honest. And people can say and do whatever they want to do. That's fine. But that's just how I feel about it. Speaking of the negative Black male characters, and I'm going to let you guys go in a minute because I've talked for a long time. Her uncle, who ended up being the one that helped her out, gave her the money, gave them a place to stay or whatever. Mind you, he's surrounded by like 4 strippers that are just there doing nothing. That's somebody's imagination. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that because I don't know this sister and I don't really know, you know what I mean? But I just, her uncle killed her mother. She represented him in court and helped him to get, I can't remember if he did some jail time or not, but so he killed his sister. What's the context for that? So we don't just have dysfunctional men. We have supersized dysfunctional men. A bit much? I felt like it was overkill. And you know what I thought about? I thought about Lee Daniels. When I started to really analyze the film as I was watching it. Because there's something very sinister about Lee Daniels' mind. If you really look at the type of films that he's produced, Anthony Browder did a really, really, really good breakdown about this. I think it still should be on YouTube. I bought the DVD, but I want to say that it might be up on YouTube. Search Lee Daniels and Anthony Browder, where he talks about, I believe it was Precious and Empire, and just kind of combing through some of Lee Daniels' films and how his psychosis or his dysfunction plays itself out on film. And I'm bringing that up because I was thinking about him as I was watching this when I was like, okay, wait, his uncle, her uncle killed her mother. So are we just trying to throw all of the dysfunction, possible dysfunction, known stereotypes, unknown stereotypes, particular stereotypes, possible stereotypes, way left stereotypes, way rag stereotypes, worst case scenario, worst case scenario, dude from the hood, dude from the block, stripper culture? Are we just trying to inundate the whole movie with that's how I was feeling. That's why Lee Daniels came up in my mind. Because I was thinking okay, and again, I don't know. I don't want to make this seem like it's a judgment per se against the intentions of what was written out in this film, because art is art. And sometimes you just sit down, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes my pen dictates what I write. It doesn't write anything like that, but you know what I mean? Like sometimes it just comes from you and you let the pen dictate what comes out. Now for me, being culturally responsible and understanding how powerful imagery is and film is, I feel like, okay, the pen did its thing yesterday. I wrote a whole script yesterday. I wrote it in my blue pen. Now I'm going to take my purple and my red and my green pen, and I'm going to start deleting this and crossing this out, and I don't really need that, and oh, that's not really a good look, and you know what I'm saying? The editing process. Too much, not enough, not a win, not a good for the culture, like, you know what I'm saying? We can't just be spotlighting and highlighting and cheerleading our people just because they're black. Sometimes we need to be critiqued in a sensible and loving and respectful way so that they can understand that there is a standard for black films. We got standards for white films. We critique the hell out of them. There has to be a standard for what you put out, not just for our culture and our people, but the way that the world looks at us. Strong, overbearing black woman. Intelligent. Successful in her own right, but clearly not emotionally intelligent. Weak black man. Horrible at decision making. Horrible at standing up for himself. Horrible at taking the reins and leading the situation to make better decisions, to put them in a better space so they can make better decisions. The only two positive images of black men was the little boy for a second until he killed the cop. And still that's contextualized. But the one police officer that was trying to get the little boy to calm down, and then the other police officer that helped them get away towards the end. He was really the police officer that helped them get away. He was really the only person that I was like, yeah, you my dude. You know what I'm saying? He was the only one. He's the only person in the movie I identified with. Fully. He's the only person in the film I identified with. Everybody else, I was like, this is too much. It's too much and not enough at the same time. And even him, you know, he was dealing with the racist white cops and stuff, so he wanted to stick it to the man. You know what I mean? So he had got his little moment, but what are we like? I feel like we're beyond this now. And I'm not saying that, like, we still have plenty of hood movies that come out, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that talk about the hood, somewhat glorify the hood. You know, Netflix is producing films. You got all these black, I think Master P did I Got the Hookup Part 2. I haven't seen that, but I'm pretty sure where Master P is right now. Like, he's careful with the type of visuals that he puts out. We got, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot happening in black film. I'm not trying in any way to say that it needs to be censored, because I don't believe in censorship. But I do think that people who claim, it's like if a young brother from the hood, right, used to be a dope dealer, got a little money, put his money to the side, right, and he makes a film. I'm expecting a film like this. I expect a brother who's like fresh out the pen, got a little money, or, you know what I'm saying, got a history in the game, or, you know what I'm saying, I expect a film like this from somebody like that. And you know what I mean? Don't expect to see it on a big screen, because he don't want to be on the big screen. He just want to make his money, whatever. That type of stuff makes sense. This conversation about for the culture and we need this and make sure you support this film and it's so good. I can't believe all these celebrities. I'm like, what did they all get together and have a meeting and just say, here's what we're all gonna say. If you loved it, I respect the fact that you loved it. If you liked it, I respect the fact that you liked it. This is just my opinion. And I really feel like as a people and as a culture, because I'm always talking about collective consciousness, I'm always talking about the way that we think, the way that the things that we focus on, the way that our frequency that we are emitting, it matters. It doesn't just go off into the ethers. Like, it's creating more things that are happening to us. I've given plenty of examples about how the things that we focus on start to magnify. Next thing you know, some random one chance event is now happening all over the country. That's what collective consciousness is. That when quantum physics talks about the observation, whatever it is that you're actually looking at, the fact that you're looking at it actually shapes and molds and changes our physical reality. This is science, and I feel like trying to have that conversation with people that resonate with that film is a lost cause. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wasting my breath. No, because this is my audience, and I love the fact that I have people that think outside the box. And even if you loved it, be able to be balanced and say, yeah, but I didn't like that. And, this idea of celebrating or promoting or highlighting our people being disrespectful to our children, why do we support that? Prime example, this is perfect. Y'all went batshit crazy because T.I. said that he goes and was checking his hymen and he clarified all of that, and some of y'all still mad, still don't like his explanation. You still mad about that, right? But you watching a film fiction where a black man is being very disrespectful to a young, and it's, listen, the little fat boy in Boys in the Hood was like one of them kids that you want to slap around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He talked crazy, he was disrespectful to his mother. Like, that's a little bit of context. The fact that this little boy, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see that. I don't need to see that. I see it enough on social media. You got black people putting up videos of themselves whooping their children for corporal punishment and viewer entertainment, embarrassing them and changing the way that they see themselves because now the world is watching them in a moment of pain and fear and suffering. That right there, if anything is warranted censorship, that's the type of shit that I can't stand. There's absolutely no, even like Precious. That was one of the, and I know it was, I was talking to somebody, it's a film and it was a book and all of that type of stuff. I just don't see anywhere, and I don't see any place in the culture for that type of stuff. Especially because I'm not going to talk to my son like that, and I'm not going to let you talk to your child like that when I'm around. I'm either going to have to move around, or, you know what I'm saying? I've intervened in situations publicly before. Not like in a forceful way, in a mother way. Oh, what happened? Oh, little man, stop, you know what I'm saying? Stop talking back to your mom. Even though I want to slap her, just chill out. You want a piece of candy? Oh, you so cute. To get this psychopath who's in the grocery store, mad, probably at some random dude, to get this psychopath off this little boy's behind. He ain't doing nothing but being a toddler or a little boy. So why? That type of stuff, again, context. I get the Bonnie and Clyde thing. I get They on the Run thing. I get the super, egregious sex scene. I get the, you know what I'm saying, the robbing, certain things in the story make sense. That type of stuff makes me look at you sideways. Especially when you start talking that for the culture shit. There was one other thing that I wanted to say to kind of contextualize this. And I'm debating how I want to say this because I don't want this to turn into something else. And say this with love. If people in the LGBTQ community are going to be making stories about Black love and about the male-female dichotomy, it needs to be healthy. And I say that because, and I thought about this earlier, I don't know anything about the nature of a lesbian relationship. I don't know anything about the nature of two men, period, regardless of race, having a relationship. I cannot tell that story. And I know people that are in, you know what I'm saying, relationships that are healthy, that seem like they're good. You know what I'm saying? So it's not at all an accusation against the way people live their lives. By all means, I am in no means to judge. And specifically because I've been, as a public figure, under the magnifying glass of what other people think about me. I felt that heat. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. Judging me. You know what I'm saying? So it's totally like giving me a different level of compassion and empathy for everybody. I know what that fire feels like. That said, if people in the LGBTQ community are going to be doing films about Black love and about the male-female dichotomy, it needs to be done from a perspective that is uplifting, that is inspirational. And I'm not even trying to censor or trying to tell people what to do, but we're getting in a touchy space here. You understand what I'm saying? Because we want Black love to thrive. That's why Black Panther was so important. Everybody in the film was Black, and there was love. There was healthy love. There was no disrespect. There was no, you know what I'm saying? It was healthy. It was vibrant. This is what I say when I say human beings are an ecosystem, and this is extremely important. Human beings are an ecosystem. As Black people, especially people who are against the LGBT community, they have this mindset of it's us against them. No, it's not. It's all of us in this together. So we have to formulate dialogues and start talking about, yeah, that's good, but no, we staying away from that. That's why it's not healthy or culturally acceptable, in my opinion, that the LGBT community is kind of stay away from us. It's only us. You know what I mean? You can't judge us. And I get why that space is there and why that energy is there. But listen, we are an ecosystem. And clearly we have people in the LGBTQ community making film about the whole of us, the totality of us. If you're just making film, that's predicated for people in that community. But once we start broadening the spectrum and we start telling the full story, there has to be filters. There has to be guidelines set up in place, because Lee Daniels has an issue. And I know he's a homosexual man, and I know his issues go way just beyond him being a homosexual man. But this man has a very powerful position in shaping and molding the way not just Black people, but the world looks at Black culture, and the world looks at Black love. The same thing with Lena Waithe. As beautiful, as an intelligent, and I've told you I was rooting for her. I want her to win. But not if she's going to be anti-culture and healthy culture. There's levels of culture. Some of y'all just want to see Black people on film doing anything. There's levels of culture. If we're talking about Black excellence, if we're talking about healthy, invigorating, and inspiring film, if we're talking about we're doing this to move the culture forward, nah, sis, you got a different level of accountability and responsibility. Nope. And I don't care how many celebrities gaslight it. I don't care how many celebrities get behind it. Black people, you got to start thinking for yourself. You got to start having your own mind and be able to see the mind tricks that are being played. There's nothing invigorating and inspiring as far as Black men and Black boys are concerned in that film. Nothing. Black women, yeah, there's a few things. The sister, for one. and the sisters who were behind it. That's really what everybody's kind of cheerleading her, and like they want them to win. I get that, but come on, let's put some context to this. So again, when I talk about the LGBTQ community, or not even the community, this aspect of creating films, when it comes, like, this is an area that we gotta like look at a little bit. I don't know if Lena Waithe grew up in an environment where she had a healthy male figure and a healthy female figure, and her parents were in a healthy relationship, or at least they were both involved in her life. But if they were, it damn sure wasn't reflected in that film. And that's not to say that it had to be reflected in the film. But again, this is your mind playing out on screen. We talk about this is the Black experience. Was this your experience? Because if this was your experience, then that kind of means that, okay, you know what I mean? There's this schism. I got to look at you different. Like Lee Daniels. His upbringing, what happened to him? Nah, bruh. I got to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm good on that. Anything you put out, anything with your name on it, I'm good on that. Not because you're gay, but because you're sick. So I know that my opinions are going to be unpopular. I know that a lot of people that aren't really listening to the what I'm saying. It's one film, yes, but film has notoriously been used to shape and mold consciousness. That's what they do. They shape and mold consciousness. Are we moving towards Black excellence, or are we just going to cheer for a few Black people that are making advances in this society? Do we all want to be excellent? Do we want the world to see our culture as excellent? Or do we just want to cheerlead a few people that are doing well? That's my question for you guys. Much love to everybody. Much love to Peace. Thank you, Queen, for holding me down in the chat room. I so appreciate you. Much love to everybody. All your comments. I was going to read some questions, but I've been talking for more than an hour and a half. I think I gave you guys the fullness of my perspective, and I'd be interested to see the feedback, how you guys receive what I'm saying. In one breath, it's just entertainment, but for people that are being so highly impacted and moved by entertainment, is more than just entertainment. And if you need verification of that, just look at our young daughters, like literally Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, and Nicki Minaj, and a few others are like setting the cultural standards for young Black women between the age of 16 all the way up to like 45. I see it everywhere I go. I see the language. And it's just entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And again, much respect to those sisters as far as the good things that they're doing in their lives and their advancement as far as their personal lives. But again, are we trying to represent Black excellence as a culture, or are we just standing back being cheerleaders of people that are making advancements in their own personal lives? My Overcoming Anxiety group coaching session is tomorrow. If you guys want to join, the link is in the description. After December 15th, I'm no longer doing one-on-one sessions. So if you've ever wanted to talk to me, if you've ever wanted to work with me, between now and December 15th will be the only time. After that, 2020, this will have to be a totally different ball game. And I have a special price on my website right now. So if you're interested, you can go access my calendar and sign up right now. What else? Facebook. I love you guys, but I have made a decision. I'm getting ready to dissolve my Facebook account because there's a lot of energy that's tied to that account, that's tied to a lot of other energy. And I've kind of been like really monitoring it. I've been watching the analytics, watching how many people on that forum support me, watching how many people actually purchase my books, it's just, there's some energy that's tied there that I need to let go of. So I have 40,000 followers on Facebook. I'm getting ready to deactivate that page. I'm going to start a brand new page, fresh page. It'll be a business page, but it won't be until a couple of months next year. and just reframe the narrative. I was listening to Neville Goddard earlier today, and he was saying that Bible passage, you can't put new wine in an old veil, or whatever the veil is. And when he said it, I was like, that's real. I'm trying to put new wine. I'm trying to bring new energy into a space that represents something. Even like a lot of the people that I follow on Facebook, it's just a very low vibration, low frequency, low energy on Facebook. So when I come back on Facebook, it's going to be purely for promoting my business and really connecting with people that are in alignment with where I am right now. So please join my email list, because it's about to be a different situation in 2020 as far as my access to me. The link for my workbooks is in the description. And what else? There was one more thing I wanted to tell you guys. What was it? What was it? Oh, and I'm redoing my website right now. So like my Alchemy Cipher private group and my courses, all of that stuff is going to be on my website right now. I'm super excited about that. So it'll just be everything in one place. I'm building something right now. That's why I've kind of been off of social media. December is going to be like really the last month that I'm engaging the way that I normally do. Starting January of 2020, I'm really changing how I've been interacting with social media and how I run my business. So Overcoming Anxiety workshop tomorrow is going to come with a bunch of different videos, a 30-minute yoga, basic yoga, simple yoga practice, a meditation, and a couple of other things. So you can get information about that on my website. Much love to all you beautiful people for the super chats. I didn't get a chance to say your names, but I definitely appreciate you guys. You know, this trying to do this, and people feel like, you know, you're just supposed to do this because, you know, it's like this part of the business is not really the business. This is just me engaging you guys and trying to give my voice in order to, you know, kind of change the narrative or whatnot. So for the people that have bought my books, that have purchased my workbooks, that have purchased my workshops, that have done one-on-one sessions and done my programs with me, I really appreciate you guys. I can't tell you enough. And much love to my Alchemy Cipher family. And I wish you guys the best. And let me know what you think about the my perspective. And y'all have a good evening. Peace and love.